Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Grim and Guilty. Imagine watching someone walk into a bar, clear as day on camera, and then that same person never walks out. No struggle, no escape route, no trace. In 2006, that's exactly what happened to 27-year-old med student Ryan Shaffer. And nearly 20 years later, not a single clue explains how he simply vanished. All right, let me tell you about a case that has bothered me for years. One of those disappearances that just sticks with you because none of it makes sense. We're going to Columbus, Ohio, back in 2006. A 27-year-old med student named Brian Randall Shaffer goes out for drinks with friends. Normal night, busy bar, security cameras everywhere. He walks in, and no one ever sees him walk out. Yep, buckle up. So here's what you need to know about Brian. He's a second-year med student at Ohio State. Super smart, super likable, really close with his friends and family. But just a few weeks before he vanished, his mom passed away from cancer. It hit him hard. His girlfriend at the time, Alexis, said that he was dealing with it, but you know how grief works. Still, the two of them were planning a vacation to Miami, and people close to them believe Brian might have been getting ready to propose. Now, the night before their trip, March 31st, he grabs dinner with his dad. His dad later said Brian looked tired, but nothing seemed off. And after dinner, Brian decides to go out. Spring break is starting. Why not blow off some steam? So he meets his buddy Clint or William Florence. They hop from bar to bar, just a regular night out. And eventually they end up at the Ugly Tuna Saloona. Such a funny name. Kind of a hot spot near campus. Now remember this, there's a security camera pointed right at the only public entrance. You can't walk in without being caught on camera. So around 1:15, you see Bryant, Clint, and another friend riding up the escalator toward the bar. Perfectly normal. Inside, they're drinking, hanging around, talking to people, and at one point, Bryant chats to two women near the entrance. And you can actually see him step just outside the bar and then come back in. And after that, it's just like he's gone. His friends can't find him. They look around, call his phone, nothing. Eventually, they assume that he left early. It's late, everybody's drunk, no one thinks too deeply about it. But by morning, Alexis is calling, texting, and panicking. And the next day, when Bryant doesn't show up to their Miami flight, that's when everyone knows that something's wrong. This part gives me chills. When police review the footage, they see Brian going into the bar, clear as day. But there is no footage of him ever leaving. None. You're talking about a bar with one main entrance, cameras directly facing it, a whole hallway of visibility, and yet, no Brian. Now, there was a back exit, and it was blocked off by construction at the time, like debris, fencing, tools. Technically, someone could go through, but why would Brian, a dude that was drinking and just chatting with friends, squeeze himself through the dark, cluttered construction zone instead of using the normal exit? It just doesn't track. So let me run quickly through the people involved. Brian, obviously, his father Randy, who later became the heart of the search for him, Alexis, his girlfriend, she called his phone every day for years, by the way. Clint, the friend that was with him that night. Now, Clint is controversial. He refused to take a polygraph and got a lawyer early on. Police never called him a suspect, but that choice raised eyebrows. Police searched everywhere: the bars, roofs, dumpsters, nearby buildings, the river, even underground tunnels. Dogs picked up nothing. Cameras showed nothing. His phone, bank accounts, credit cards never touched again. The case just froze. The most heartbreaking moment in 2008, Brian's father, Randy, died after a storm knocked a tree onto him. And at his obituary online, someone left a message saying, Brian is alive in the Virgin Islands. Investigators traced it to a public computer in Ohio. meaning someone thought it would be funny to torture a grieving family. So let's talk theories. One, he walked away on purpose. People suggest Brian left his life behind because of grief. But if you heard him talk about Alex or the trip that they were about to take, that theory feels thin. Two, an accident during construction. Maybe he did wander into the construction area and fell, and somehow his body got removed during demolition. Police say it's possible, but unlikely. Three, foul play. Maybe he stepped outside, encountered the wrong person, and something happened quickly. But again, no evidence, no scream, no commotion, no body. And four, something involving Clint. People love this theory. Clint's refusal to cooperate created that cloud over him, but there's still no hard evidence pointing to him. So here's what we're left with. A man walks into a bar with cameras pointed at every doorway. He steps outside for a second, comes back in, and then vanishes like smoke. No trail, no clues, no confirmed sightings. It's one of those cases that stays with you because nothing about it adds up. And the truth is still hidden. And until someone talks or something surfaces, Brian Shaffer will remain one of the most haunting disappearances in modern true crime. Do you ever walk into a place and it feels every instinct in your body say, nope? That's the Clown Motel, a motel in the middle of the Nevada desert, filled wall to wall with clowns, and sitting right next door to a cemetery full of miners who never left. Let me tell you about the night this place went from weird to downright haunted. All right, so pull up a chair because this one feels like something out of a horror movie, except it's real. We're heading out to Tonopah, Nevada, a tiny mining town out in the desert where the nights are quiet, a little too quiet sometimes. And right there on the edge of town is the Clown Motel. Yeah, an entire motel themed around clowns. They're everywhere, on the walls in the lobby, perched on shelves. But the creepiest part isn't even the clowns. It's what's sitting right next door, the Tonopah Cemetery. Yep, it's next to a cemetery that's filled with miners who died brutally in the early 1900s. And for decades, guests have been saying the spirits in that cemetery don't always stay in that cemetery. So let me take you back a bit. Tonopah wasn't always a quiet town. Back in the early 1900s, it was booming with silver mining. Dangerous work. Men were crushed in cave-ins, burned in fires, or killed by disease. The worst was in 1911, Tonopah Belmont mine fire, where dozens of men died deep on the ground. These men were buried right behind where the motel stands today. Jump to the 1980s. Two brothers opened a clown-themed motel as a tribute to their father's clown collection. They placed his dolls in the lobby, and people started donating more, hundreds more. And before long, the motel becomes this bizarre shrine to clowns. And then the haunting stories begin. Okay, picture this. You check in, you walk into your room, and the first thing you see is a clown portrait over your bed. Big painted smile, wide eyes, and at night, those eyes look a lot darker. When you finally turn the lights out, the room gets silent. The kind of thick desert silent where you suddenly notice every sound. That's when people say things start happening. A faint tapping on the headboard, the bathroom light flickering on for a split second, a cold draft creeping down the hallway. Footsteps in the gravel outside, slow, steady, like someone is pacing. People swear they've seen shadows moving between the motel and the cemetery. Not walking, gliding. But the one story that always sticks with me. So, a guest woke up around 3 a.m. hearing laughter. Not adult laughter, but children's laughter. We all know that's creepy. Drifting from the direction of the cemetery. And nothing out there but gravestones. Let's remember it's dark, it's lonely. Now, here's where the place gets even stranger, the Red Room. So guests say that a tall shadow figure stands in the same corner every night, always in the same spot, the lobby clown. There's this big clown sitting near the doorway. People swear its head changes position between check-in and check-out. Staff says it doesn't move. Voices in the cemetery. Investigators have caught EVPs telling people to leave, go back, or calling out names of long dead miners. Doors swinging open. Inside hall doors, heavy, old, loud, swing open on their own in the middle of the night on camera. Some people think the cemetery spirits are active. Others blame the clown themselves. Many dolls are antiques from unknown donors. Nobody knows what energy comes with them. Skeptics think it's all psychological because you're in the desert, you're surrounded by clowns, so your brain fills in the rest. But honestly, the most believable theory to me is a mix of everything. You got a tragic cemetery, weird objects, isolation, a place that already looks haunted before anything even happens. Whatever you believe, the Clown Motel remains one of the strangest and most haunted places you spend the night.